Here is an interesting challenge. Let's draw hearts using Affinity Designer. Drawing hearts is a fun and useful exercise which can help us to master our tools, but also help in being creative in finding solutions. So let's kick off with the first method. We start by drawing a rectangle. Once we have our rectangle, let's use the transform panel and adjust the height of our rectangle to be 2.333 times the width. Perfect. Now we can change the corners to round corners and make them as round as possible. We rotate the rounded rectangle 45 degrees to the left. You can hold the shift key while rotating. This rotates in steps of 15 degrees. We can now press Command or Ctrl J to duplicate it and rotate the duplicate to 45 degrees to the other side. Select both of them in the Layers panel and choose the Shape Builder tool. Highlight the areas that make up the heart shape and press the plus button on the toolbar. Beautiful! When we remove the obsolete layers, we got ourselves a beautiful heart. Optionally, you can add a fisheye warp effect to make it a bit more interesting. Also, playing with the value in the toolbar will allow you to create interesting heart shapes. Let's park this heart and look at the next method, which is very similar. We create our rectangle again and set its height to 2.333 times the width. This time I'll skip the step of making rounded angles. I'll just rotate minus 45 degrees, duplicate it, and rotate it to 45 degrees. With the Shape Builder tool, we can now select the area we need for the heart shape. Once we have our squared heart shape, we can use the corner tool to get the actual heart shape. I'll select the 4 nodes we need to round, and then with the corner tool, round them as much as possible. There you have it, a beautiful heart. There is, however, a catch. When you start resizing it, the effect of the corner tool will resize too, which actually breaks my heart. So let's undo and press Ctrl or Command Enter to convert this to a curve. This way our heart will not lose its shape. Up to the next method. We will start with a rectangle again, but this time we'll set the height to it to 1.666 times the width. Now that we got a nice ratio, we're going to round the top part of the rectangle. To achieve that, I'll turn off the single radius checkbox in the toolbar and enter 50 to the top left and to the top right fields. You can probably guess the next step. Rotate minus 45 degrees, duplicate it, and then rotate the duplicate with plus 45 degrees. To perfectly align them into a heart shape, I'll use an additional rectangle. The width of this rectangle will need to be 1.16 times the height of our rounded box. So I'll copy the value from the transform panel and select the box to paste the value in the width field with 1.1666 multiplication. We can now align the 2 rounded boxes to the outer sides of this rectangle, which will make sure that we have the perfect alignment for these 2 shapes. We don't need the rectangle anymore, so let's get rid of it and finally use the Shape Builder tool to combine these 2 shapes into a heart symbol. Pretty cool. Now for the next method. We're going to do things a bit more differently. And it is definitely not the easiest way to create a heart, but I think it generates one of the best heart shapes. We start again with a rectangle. We are going to need 2 more rectangles, so I'll duplicate the current rectangle. The height of this left rectangle is going to be divided by 1.4 and we're going to bottom align it. For the second rectangle, we position this to the right side and modify the height so it gets divided by 1.166. Let's also not forget to bottom align it. Now for the main rectangle, we need a nice ratio. Let's change the width of it to 0.6 times the height. Excellent. Let's align everything. Now with the pencil tool, I'm going to draw a line from the bottom right to the top right of the left rectangle, then to the middle of the main rectangle, followed by a line to the top left of the right rectangle, and then finish at our starting point. Let's hide the left and right rectangles and dim down the main rectangle so we can see our drawn path much better. I'll use the corner tool on the top center node and increase it until it touches the rectangle border. With the node tool, I'll select the left node and right click on it so I can change the node to smart or smooth. I'll now enable back the left box we used earlier and then move the node control point until the middle of the left box aligned vertically. I don't need the boxes anymore, so we can remove or hide them. Now let's make a duplicate and use the horizontal mirror function. Have a look at that. That's a pretty cute heart. Let's again combine these two layers into a single layer using the shape builder, and our heart is ready. As mentioned, it took a bit more effort, but this heart is much more organic as it does not have any straight lines. Time for the next method, and this time we will not use any rectangles but circles. I'll create two circles and position them so that we have our top part of our heart symbol. Next, I'll duplicate the last circle and resize it until it has the same width as both of the circles combined. Remember to hold the Shift key while resizing to make sure the aspect ratio of our circle doesn't change. I'll lower the opacity of this big circle so I can see a bit more clearly. I'll move it slightly up until we have the two circles just popping out of the big circle. Now with the pen tool, I can draw a triangle, which will start from the center left of the left circle, moving to the right center, followed to the bottom mid-center of the big circle, and finish where we started. I don't need the big circle anymore, so let's remove it. Time for the shape builder. Let's combine the shapes that make up the heart symbol and remove the non-used parts. I'll use the node tool to select the outer two nodes, and while they are selected, I can use the right-click context menu to convert them to a smooth node. As a final step, let's align the control nodes with these two nodes, and we got ourselves a beautiful heart. I think I have used the Shape Builder tool in all the variations. Let's create one without using the Shape Builder tool. I'll start again with two circles, just as with the previous method. This time, however, we're going to add a box with the same width as the two circles combined. Remember to hold the Shift key to make a box. I'll copy the circle height from the transform panel and copy this to the height of the rectangle and multiply it with 0.666. We now have a rectangle with a nice ratio. Let me lower the opacity and then move its top to the vertical center of the circles. As you guessed probably, I'll use the pen tool to draw our triangle. Let's remove the rectangle. Now we have the circles and the triangle. We can use the add option from the toolbar to combine them into one object. We got a nice ice cream shape, but when we remove the two nodes and adjust them, we get a nice heart shape. Optionally, you could also modify the node at the bottom to get a bit more sharper bottom, which makes the heart shape so much cooler. And finally, let's not forget that Affinity has a heart shape out of the box. Press and hold the Shapes tool and you can select the heart shape. I'm not very fond of this heart shape, but if needed, you can always tweak it to your liking. Let me position them next to each other. And there you go. I hope you liked this video and had as much fun as I had. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons before leaving. Thanks again for tuning in, and until the next video.